Yo, what's going on everyone? In this video, I'm very quickly going to walk you through how to complete the ascendant plane here in Destiny 2 Fire and Ice. So this is a jumping puzzle, it's a bit confusing, and it can be a bit long. It has a lot of steps in it after even just the first little portion of it, so I'll walk you through the whole thing. So you'll start out in this room and there will be a bunch of dialogue. You'll want to go through it all, and then you can go through to the next step. So the first thing you'll want to do is come to this pillar in the center. You can actually drop down inside, but be very careful when you do and save some thrust for the bottom because you will have to maneuver yourself over to these stairs. Now from there, you'll want to follow my path through the rest of this dungeon. There's a few more puzzles to complete along the way. So we're going to get going through here and we're going to go into a wide open room and I'll show you guys how you can get through that once we get there. So once you get to this section, this is where it can get extremely confusing and the more of the jumping puzzle will come into play. So I'll very quickly show you guys how to complete this. So the first maneuver or the first place you'll want to go is up along this wall. So there's a bunch of different ways you can get there, but you'll start by getting onto this rock and you'll want to proceed and go through all the way to the middle. But watch out because there will be some barriers that try to throw you off as you proceed through. So now that you have made it to this center, you'll notice here that there's the place on the right we came from, and then off to the left here, there's going to be more of these walls, which will continue to throw you off. So you want to continue on this path here. Now you want to be very careful when you go along here, and you also want to make sure to crouch, otherwise you won't be able to make it. Now at the very, very end of this, there's going to be this light that you see. And so you'll see this light, you'll walk past it, but then at the end here, there's going to be another light. Now you can try and stand up here because you have to make it all the way around the corner. So if you have a sword on, it will definitely make it a lot easier. But you'll notice here that if you stand in the right spot, you get right on the edge. You can stand up and you have to glide all the way up and around the corner here. So once you guys land here, you'll want to jump up on this rock and I'll show you guys where to go after this. So just to the right here is this rock. Now you'll notice that you can also get to this platform now, but there really wasn't anything on it. You can explore it if you want, but you'll want to come this way to complete the rest of the jumping puzzle. So you'll come up another level and you'll notice now that there's these blasters which will throw you off, and you'll want to again make it to the center. But watch out for this wall, which will try and throw you off once you get here. Now, at this center wall, just before you get here, there's actually a turn you can make to the right, so you don't even have to make it all the way to the center, but you can actually turn off here to the right, and this is where you're going to want to go for the rest of the puzzle. Now, this part can get a little bit confusing because they trick you a bit with these walls. So if you melee the walls, they'll disintegrate and you can go along this path. But you'll notice this path, it actually just spits you right back out where you came in. So I went through it a few different times. I did get stuck. I don't think I had it triggered anything, but I would go through it just once just to be safe. Now, after you go through it once, I'm not sure if it did anything, but this is the path you'll want to take. So you'll notice if you come back the way you came, nothing has changed and you'll just still be stuck here with this wall. But if you go back in the tunnel now, you should be able to continue along the path, but there is just a pathway you may have missed. So like I said, I did go through that wall puzzle once. Like I said, I don't really think it activated anything, but you'll notice here at this wall here, right where you can start the puzzle now, you want to make this right turn. So you can see there you can drop down, but instead you want to make this right turn. Now be careful when you run through here because these walls will begin to get thrown out, as you can see. Eventually, you're actually going to need to use these walls, so you want them to actually come out and get triggered. But at the end, there'll be a trap door, so you want to make sure not to fall through this. Now, when you come back in this hallway, you'll notice these pillars have been moved out. These are the pillars that actually threw us off the map a bit. But you'll notice that now you can use them. So if you try and dodge them properly, you can just actually use them to get all the way up. But what you need to do is just jump on these, get across, and then turn around. and you're gonna get up another level. You wanna go all the way up here, and just watch out for these pillars along the way, but you're gonna come into this little slot. You'll have to crouch or slide through and then continue along this path, this small maze, and I'll show you guys how to complete the rest of this puzzle. So you'll walk through here and you want to make this left, and it gets a little tricky on this next room because there's going to be a bunch of falling tiles. So as soon as you step on a location, the tiles underneath you will fall out. And the same is said for the doors. So there's going to be these pathways you're going to try and go through, and the pathways are going to get locked up, and the floor is going to get locked up. So you'll notice here, there's these floor tiles, they start to disintegrate. The pathways, they'll lock up as you get close. So what you want to do is kind of float around, use your movement abilities to trigger as many of the walls and as you can, but to try and stay off the floor. But you'll notice here you kind of have to trigger the walls for the pathway to open. So you actually have to double back, come this way, open up these walls, and then you can actually come through to this section. But you'll notice all these walls will be closed off now. So again, just stay off the ground, try and go through this slot here, and then again, trigger all the walls in this room. This back door is going to be locked up. These walls will be locked up, so you actually have to now double back into this other room. You'll notice that if you stay in the air long enough, the floor actually does reappear, which is good. So you want to try and just float as much as you can, like I was here. And then I was able to then get all the way through this room. Now, there's a few more things we need to get through. So if you head along now, there's still a bit more to this jumping puzzle. You're gonna have to come up another level, and we'll continue along this path. I'll show you guys how to complete this. So once you guys make it to the end of this portion, you should see this door at the bottom right corner. Make sure you do get a checkpoint. Like, make sure you land properly and try and get a checkpoint in this room. Otherwise, it'll throw you all the way back. But you'll notice here, there's this prism at the end. You want to fire on that. And then once you come through here, have your weapon ready because there will be a few enemies that you want to take out along the way. Otherwise, they're going to basically one-shot you. So I came back in here on my second attempt. As you can see, the prism is already gone. But the first time I tried to just speed through it, did not take out the enemies, and they ended up taking me out instantly. So if you come up here, have a weapon ready, very quickly just take out these goblins so they don't snipe you out. And then you follow my path. You're going to want to basically head to the left as far as you can. And luckily, I do believe there's one more hobgoblin. It kind of shows you a little bit of a hint as where to go. So come up here. You should see a hobgoblin back here in this corner. Take that out before it spots you. And then you can stand on these stairs for a bit of a break. They shouldn't disintegrate. But you'll notice now you want to follow these blasters. It gets really confusing at this point, but take out this enemy. He's going to try and blast you off the side, so be a little careful here. Take this guy out, and then you'll be at this ridge. You should see another blaster off on this rock, so go to this blaster. Make sure not to stand in front of it, though. And then now you want to look down here. Again, you're going to see this light sort of giving you a little hint that that's the door you want to go through. So when you come down here, now you can drop into this tunnel. There's going to be more of these blasters all the way up, so be very, very careful. This is where I did get a bit confused. So make it all the way up to the top, and then I did get stuck here for just a second. So you'll notice now we're all the way up top. There's going to be this rock you can jump across. Now this is where I got stuck for a bit, and I kind of took a bit of a shortcut. There's probably another pathway to actually go and take this jump. But what I ended up doing is floating all the way around. So I jumped as if I was going to make a jump to the left, but then all the way to the right here, I noticed that there's this small platform you can land on here. So there's that window I noticed as it turned around. There's a window there. You may need to jump through that if you're a different character to make it. But you'll jump on these platforms here and make your way along this path. Now, once you land here, be sure to activate this. There's going to be a few more puzzles along this mission. I'm going to make a separate video for it in case you guys want to try and do it on your own. But once you activate this, it will complete this quest step and you'll be able to move on to the next section. So hopefully this helps, and I will catch you in the next one.